Hi friends, this is Amber coming to you from my flower shop here in Atlanta, Georgia. And thank you for joining my YouTube channel where I give you a sneak peek into all the things that happen behind the scenes at my flower shop. And normally I'd tell you how to make the beautiful creations that I make for my customers. But today's video is going to be all about how to take care of the flowers that you've either created or you've received as a gift from somebody special. So we have three different types of arrangements that you might have received. One is a vase arrangement in water. One is a container arrangement using floral foam, which I'll talk a little bit more about when we get to it. And the other is a wrapped bouquet. So I did just start my new YouTube channel and I've already gotten 2 videos on how to make these 2 beautiful arrangements. I will be soon showing you how to arrange a dozen red roses. I'm not going to quite show that to you today, but I'll show you how to take care of the roses after you receive them. Okay, so let's get started. So the first one is a vase arrangement, and if your flower arrangement was done by a professional, there'll be no floating green leaves under the water. That's very, very important. Any greenery under the water promotes bacteria, and the bacteria then decomposes your flowers and they expire faster. So that's one tip, is hopefully there's no leaves under the water. If there are, you might want to take them out and peel the leaves off, put the stems back in the water. Again, if you got this from a professional florist, you're totally fine. The main thing is to keep the water clear. So freshwater flowers have nice clear water. After a day or 2, it starts to get a little bit murky. In this particular case, which you'll see when you watch the video of how to make this tulip arrangement, it's taped. So since it's taped, what I can do is bring this to my sink and pour out the water, and everything is staying in place. And then you just refill the water. So do that every couple of days. That'll keep your flowers really fresh and lasting longer than if you didn't do it. Okay, so that's how to take care of a fresh flower arrangement. Also keep in mind, whenever you receive flowers, they drink the fastest when they're first cut. So when they're first made, they're drinking up all that water. So make sure you're keeping your eye on the water, especially the first couple of days. If they run out of water, you're kind of out of luck. All right, the second arrangement you may get is an arrangement that utilizes floral foam. You can tell by just sticking your finger in there and then you'll find the foam. This is what the foam actually looks like inside the container. Of course, it's holding water. And the way you take care of these particular flowers is you just water it like a plant. Just keep adding water. You don't have to pull anything out. You don't have to recut the stems, do anything fancy like that. Just keep adding water. I suggest you add the water under the sink because it's a little hard to tell unless you can stick your finger in there and find the water level. A lot of times it'll kind of overflow, which tells you it's full. Then just splash a little bit out, dry the vase, and you're hydrated. Okay? Now I'm going to move these out of the way to show you about a wrapped arrangement. So if you've received a wrapped arrangement, hopefully you have a vase at home. And what we're going to do, this also counts for if you're buying your own flowers at the grocery store. Of course, they won't come in this pretty tissue with a pretty ribbon, but it's the same effect, same concept. You open them up. You may receive a little powdered preservative, which is good to use. If you're getting a professional flower arrangement, it's already been soaking in the preservative. They've probably sprayed it as well, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So all you have to do about professionally delivered flowers is keeping up with the water. Now, if it's a little more DIY and you're putting them together and you're using this packet of preservative, a tip for this is to dilute it in lukewarm water first. That way it's actually dissolving and the flowers can drink up the solution as opposed to the solution still settling at the bottom in its powder form, which could actually cause harm to your fresh cut flowers. So again, lukewarm water, blend it all up, and then you can get to your flowers. So this is a dozen roses, and I'm not, again, going to show you how to design them. That's for another video. But just keep in mind, as I had mentioned before, you don't want any leaves underwater. So if your flowers have a bunch of leaves on the bottom, you want to strip them out. Now that I've said that, if you're shopping for flowers at the grocery store, they usually come in a plastic clear wrap, so you can actually inspect the leaves on the flowers. let's say they're roses. If you're buying roses and the leaves are falling off and at the bottom of the bag, or they're browning, or they look dry, don't get those flowers. They haven't been processed, or they're old, or they're just in bad shape. So make sure to see what the foliage looks like through the clear plastic before you get them. Then you get them, you open them up, you take the leaves off the parts of the stems that might be touching the water. Okay. The other thing with roses is, as florists, we get these straight from the farm. And there's a lot that goes into hydrating them and making sure the heads don't fall, which I'll cover in another video again. But a lot of times they'll still come with the protective petals. The reason that we don't take the protective petals off when we first get them is we're hydrating them and they're all packed in together side by side in a cooler. Well, there's moisture in the cooler, and if the moisture gets in between on top of the protective petals, sometimes it'll brown it a little bit. That's totally fine. We also don't take the protective petals off until we're selling the flowers because they help keep them closed. So these guys all look in pretty good shape, but if I wanted to, it's usually just the first 2, maybe 3 outer petals. You just snap them right off, and you've got a nice clean rose, and it allows it for it to open up a little bit faster. Okay? And then when you're cutting your flowers, you want them to be at an angle so that it gives more surface space for the water to hit. So those are some important tips on wrapped arrangements. Again, make sure the greenery is cleaned. You've taken off a few of the protective petals of your roses, and you've diluted the preservative in the water. And you keep refreshing the water of a fresh cut vase arrangement. So I hope these tips were useful for you and that you are inspired to go get some flowers and make some of your own beautiful arrangements. If you liked what you see, please like this video. Make sure to subscribe so you see the upcoming content. And thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.